makes him look more sinister. Just darken up around the corners especially. Make him spiky in the corner as well. Instantly cooler. So then we have a long snake-like pupil there. And then we'll add just some like eyelid lines and stuff around. Bags of those eyes and stuff. So I want to like have a heavy eyebrow spikes coming along the top of this brow, right? So in order to do that, we will go, so we'll add a spike and see how we feel then. I feel good about that spike. We'll keep going. Keep spiking. Kind of in this direction, right? And then it's like the frowning part to be like kind of there, like you'll have like eyelid lines coming around. So keep spiking all along here, and this will be like his brow. And it start getting a bit bigger at the back here. And then like the scales for the back of his sort of eyebrow will be coming down here. Okay. So we're going to keep the sort of bridge of his nose going along this way. And then come down, so we'll go along here. And it won't be if you want. And you'll need like a nostril, so the two of his sort of nose and his nose. That's the whole part of the skin sort of comes around. So we might want to make him just slightly up along here as well. Just basically having spikes along his forehead. This eventually starts coming down around the back of his head as well, and it'll make like some really big spikes. Okay, keep going. I'm going to just like curve it around towards his mouth area, basically. Might get some pretty big ones then. There's a big one there. Smaller one. Okay, and then like his mouth, sort of the skin of his mouth sort of goes this way. That one. Okay, and then like his mouth, sort of the skin of his mouth sort of goes this way, up towards that nose area. It's kind of like bumpy. Right, so just past his nose and then it dips down for his lip there. And then this will kind of like come around. And then I add like a horn right in the middle here, a small one. Well, it can be any size you want, but kind of. That sort of size. And then we can see the nostril just on the other side of his snout there, kind of same level. And then this sort of part of his snout kind of keeps going this way. So then we have like some texture lines on his skin, right? So we'll like bump this over around his lip. This usually has little divided sections on the lip. Same with like dinosaurs and stuff. And then we'll give him like wrinkles just come around. Make him look kind of scaly. Clusters of circles is a good way of making something look scaly. See like that? It's useful. Then in general, the dividing sort of lines that just divide up his skin, sort of like a fishing net that you've thrown over him. So you have horizontal ones and vertical ones. Okay. Then the sections of the lip. Same with like dinosaurs and stuff. And then we'll give them like wrinkles just coming around. Make them look kind of scaly. Clusters of circles is a good way of making something look scaly. See like that? It's a useful little. Then in general, the dividing sort of lines that just divide up his skin, sort of like a fishing net that you've thrown over him. So you have horizontal ones and vertical ones. Just makes him look a bit scaly, reptile-y. Like that. So we'll finish the spikes just along the top of the head here. So, say there's like a big one sort of here. I'm not getting the horns or anything as well, so we're just adding the sort of main sort of clusters of them first along his head here. And then of course there is like huge ones that go down the back of his head. These kind of all go behind here. There's some on the top of the head, and then like these kind of all go behind here. There's some on the top of the head, and then like here. And like his eyebrow, sort of on the other side here, we'll have some spikes on the other side of his head. See that? Like you can't see the eye on the other side, so it's like down behind his skull. So that's kind of his top jaw, right? So the bottom jaw then. So then it comes out from here. And again, kind of a bumpy, wavy situation down there. And this seems to like go behind a big spiky horn that's part of his head. So, see the bottom half is all spikes. So what we do, we go around, and he has like a bit of a mustache or something, like a goatee. Like something long hanging off his chin. And then this comes all spiky then this way. His bottom jaw. And I'm going to go quite large with some of these ones right on the corner of his jaw. Because dragons usually have, you know, that sort of stuff right on the edge of their face. And maybe I'll just add that there, and then I can fill in the gaps when we get to the horn parts. So just like finishing off these as they attach to his skin. And again, like clusters of maybe a scar. Oh yeah, a scar. He needs a scar, this guy. Scars, Joe. And again, like clusters of
Lagi musibah. Siapa kayak?
maybe a scar. Oh yeah, a scar. He needs a scar. This guy. So we get to the horn parts. So just like finishing off these as they attach to his skin. And again, like clusters of maybe a scar. Oh yeah, a scar. He needs a scar. This guy. Scars just make everything cooler, don't they? And then his bottom lip, and I'll do like a scar, like he got scratched on this area. Or maybe it was a sword or something. And then just divide up his lip. And then like some textures and stuff on all this. Just horizontal lines and some vertical lines, just breaking it up, and then clusters of circles together. That just makes it look a bit more textured and not smooth. Yeah, I'll say he's not smooth. There's a little piece of skin that holds his two jaws together. There's actually two on this guy. So it's like the flap of skin, it's like the skin in between your fingers. Right, and then massive teeth, it starts small, but then they get fairly large then. There's a little piece of skin that holds his two jaws together. There's There's actually two on this guy. So it's like the flap of skin, it's like the skin in between your fingers. Right, and then massive teeth, it starts small, but then they get fairly large then. On this guy. And so it's like the flap of skin, it's like the skin in between your fingers. Right, and then massive teeth, it starts small, but then they get fairly large then.
প্ৰতিশ্ৰুতি আছিল মহিলা সবলীকৰণ আৰু আৰ্থিক সুৰক্ষাৰ অৰুণোদয় মুকলি কৰিলে স্বাৱলম্বনৰ দুৱাৰ ৩৮ লাখতকৈও অধিক আয় মাতৃলৈ এয়া শ্ৰদ্ধা আৰু সন্মান নাৰী শক্তিৰ উত্থানেৰে বাঢ়িছে অসমৰ মান
অটল ভৱিষ্যত অগ্ৰগামী অসমৰ অনিৰুদ্ধ গতি
Okay, and across the top lip. And we can see some like in the back of his mouth, behind these teeth. And across the top lip. And we can see some like in the back of his mouth, behind
তোমার
these
স্পিড
teeth.
হয়েছে তো কাটি কাটি দিয়া
So like say that's the front layer, and then a little layer along the back, right? So back inside his mouth. Like just going in that way. Right, and then bottom teeth. Right. Some of them big, some of them medium, some of them small. There's actually one in front of this one. Okay, again, you can see like some teeth just starting to go in behind like his tongue and stuff here. So it's like the inside of his mouth. And then the tongue, real long lizard-like. It's the center of it, bending that way. And then the outside. We'll make it pointy maybe. Like that. Make it like some lines just on there. And then we can see the skin of his mouth. And then like side of his jaw, kind of on the other side of his mouth in there. Right, now the large dragon horns all at the back of his head. So, like the big one. So we'll go here, right? About from here. I want it to bend a little bit. So, into his head. So that's like the biggest one that's coming out from like his skull here. So it might have like, one of the connection parts in the skin. And then like some lines coming up and down. Just to show that it's kind of textured. Right, then we have 3 or 4 more. Not as big as the previous one, but still pretty big. And then the next one. Then another one. And there's all the textures and stuff. Just running up and down these. And then there's another one in between this actually. Okay, so there's a couple just along the middle. Right, so like some here. Make another one sort of behind his head there. And then we get like this one goes like the opposite direction on the other side of his head, right? So it goes like back and around, and it's much smaller. Because it's like turned around, So it's going off that way. Do. Okay. Do some like, you can put some fire coming out there if you wanted, but maybe just some like roar noise, drawing noise. Can you draw noise? Yes, you can. Right, so the back of his neck then, so it's kind of like a bit bumpy, spiky. So this will be the back, and it'll go the whole way down the page, right? And we'll bend it around for a strong sort of dragon neck. And that way, the front of it, kind of scaly, armoured. Here, and there's like 2 sections, right? So he's got like the standard sort of scale section, which is here, then there's fins, and then there's the armour part here. So I'll do the armour part first. So there's kind of like layers of shields. You have like the bottom of shields, just like here. And these can have like edge lines just to make them look like they're raised up a bit. And so like these sort of spiky, the spiky parts is the main part underneath this. And there's like some scales here overlapping as well. So like some lines just on this stuff. Okay.
마 거기서 돌리려.
Right, and then, so the fins come down this way, so there's large. Starting up here,
아니 지금 거기 가면 나와요.
they get pretty big now. Just like a repeating pattern of this like wave-like shape. All the way down. And then this has some texture on this as well. So we'll just add some like follow each sort of fin. And then we'll just do sort of crisscross texture like his face on this part of his back. Dragon. Love Dragon Dragons. So cool. Thanks for watching. See you next one.
거기서. 아니 행리는 있잖아. 거기서.